And so in the first lecture, what we have seen is that everybody in this universe is striving for the happiness, and that to the eternal happiness. And we have also seen that this eternal happiness will be achieved only through these spiritual practices. Because whatever other things you are collecting or you are achieving, that is all the worldly objects which are not the eternal objects. And so it cannot give you the eternal happiness. And then we have come to the different types of spiritual practices. And in that, we are concentrating on this Yoga Sutra or the Yoga Darshana or the school of thought, Yoga school of thought. That is what we have started. And in first only aphorism, what we have decided that we have said that it is the first aphorism says that it is Atha Yoganushasanam, and we have deliberated on that also, that Atha, it is nothing but indicates the commencement of the subject which is under consideration. So Atha, now, and that Atha now itself says that the practitioner or the sadhak has done some practice in this field and now he is stuck up. And so to give him the guidelines, now he is saying that now I will give you the Yoga Anushasan. I will tell you the Yoga Anushasan, and that is what the Atha means. And sometimes it is said that it is the Mangalacharan also. But this main sutra, Atha, is that it indicates that you have to have some prerequisite, some knowledge. It is not the totally novice, he cannot understand these Yoga Sutras. So you have to have some knowledge before entering into this arena. And that is what this Atha talks about. And Anushasan itself says that it follows the older tradition. Anu means it follows. Okay, it follows the Shasana, the older tradition. So that is very important. So with this Anushasan word, actually Patanjali Muni is saying that he is not the founder of Yoga Sutra. He is not the founder of yoga philosophy. What he is trying to tell you that it was the scattered knowledge of yoga which he has compiled in a very systematic way, and he has formulated to condense the complete knowledge into the sutras. And that is the 195 sutras which will tell you the whole yoga philosophy, and that is the beauty of it. So he is basically the constructor of the Yoga Sutras, which actually gives the complete knowledge of Yoga Darshana. That is what we have seen. And he is not absolutely saying that he is the founder of yoga. Yoga was prevailing during his time, or prior to his time also yoga was prevailing, only thing that it was in a scattered form. And so with this first aphorism, now he directly enters into the subject. And the main subject, the essence of Yoga Shastra, what I can say is that starts from second sutra. So second, third, and fourth sutra, it is the essence of Yoga Shastra. If you understand this, you will understand the whole philosophy and the practices which he is trying to tell you. And so let us understand these three sutras in detail. So the second sutra talks about Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So what he is talking, the sutra in a way defines the meaning of word yoga as a practical method or means. And the next sutra indicates that the meaning of yoga as a goal. So these are the two aphorisms which talks about the yoga. The first sutra, this sutra is talking about the means, yoga chitta vritti, how to attain yoga. So it is the yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga means what? Yoga means to cessation of the modifications of the chitta. Now listen carefully all these words. First is the chitta, then the vritti, and then the nirodha. So you should understand all these things. Now what do you mean by chitta? And that is very, very important. And for that, you should know actually the evolution of theory as per the Sankhya and Yoga. Now you all know that as far as the metaphysics is concerned, the Patanjali Muni has accepted the complete evolutionary theory of Sankhya. So he is not denying that. And according to Sankhya, there are two primordial principles. Before evolution of this universe, there were two primordial principles, and one is the Purusha and one is the Prakriti. That is what his theory, his school of thought talks about. And this Purusha is the principle of consciousness, and this Prakriti is a principle of matter. Now, when Chitta is there, Chitta is the evolute of Prakriti. Let us understand this point. Chitta is the evolute of Prakriti. Prakriti only manifests. Okay, Prakriti only evolves into this universe, which is sentient, non-sentient, which is manifested, unmanifested. Everything is nothing but the evolution of Prakriti, because according to Sankhya and Yoga philosophy, the Purusha principle is akarta, non-doer. He is not doing anything. He is not asking the Prakriti also to evolve. Let us understand this point. It is the Prakriti itself, she evolves, because it has got the potential to evolve. That's why it is called Prakriti. Pra means prakarshena, Kruti. So the Prakriti has a tremendous potential to act, tremendous potential to evolve, but it cannot evolve by itself. It needs the proximity of Purusha. It needs the proximity of pure consciousness. Then only it starts evolving. And so there is a mystical union. It is not the actual union of Purusha and Prakriti, but when Prakriti comes in the proximity of Purusha, it starts evolving. Before that, all this Prakriti is nothing but the three gunas. So these are not the characteristics of Prakriti, but these three gunas are Prakriti only. Let us understand, just like that. Satchidananda, these are not the adjectives or the qualities of Brahman, but this Sat is Brahman, Chit is Brahman, and Ananda is Brahman. These are not the qualities of Brahman. Exactly in a similar way, these Sattva, Raja, and Tama, these three gunas only is the Prakriti. These are not the qualities of Prakriti, but three gunas together is the Prakriti. And when these three gunas are in perfect balanced position, then it is unmanifested. It cannot manifest. And when it comes in the proximity of Purusha principle, the Sattva guna predominates and this balance disturbs. Okay. And it starts evolving. The moment balance disturbs, it starts evolving, because that balance is not there now. So they are not nullifying each other. Now the Sattva guna is very predominant. And so that balance is disturbed and it starts evolving. Okay. And the evolution theory goes on like this, that when the first evolution is the Mahata. Now let us understand this point very well. What is this Mahata? So Mahat is nothing but the cosmic intelligence having full potential to evolve or to create this universe, whatever you are seeing. Sentient, unsentient, everything. Manifest, unmanifest, whatever is there, it is from the Mahat principle, which is the cosmic intelligence. Still, it has not any individuality. It is just a crystallized form of cosmic intelligence. There is no individuality still today. Okay, but it starts evolving. And so you can imagine that from Prakriti, you can imagine a lake full of crystal clear water lake. Okay. Now, as I have already told you, I think I have told you like that also, that this lake, the water is consisting of crores and crores of drops of water. But you cannot differentiate those drops, isn't it? Now, exactly in a similar way, this cosmic intelligence is there, which has got full capacity to evolve, which has got full knowledge to get manifest in the form of this universe. Okay, so that is the cosmic intelligence, which do not have any individuality. So all these chittas, what you can say, they are merged into that Mahatma principle. Okay, and so there is no individuality, but the evolution don't stop. The evolution is continued because it has some purpose that we'll see in the second chapter. What is the purpose of this evolution of Prakriti and everything, that we'll see. But then this evolution starts with Mahat principle. After Mahat principle, the individual chitta gets evolved. It is like this, that the whole lake is consisting of crores and crores of drops of water. But you cannot differentiate this. Now you take out one drop of water from that crystal clear water. Okay, now the quality of this drop and the quality of the water which is there in the lake is same. It is pure, except that drop has developed the individuality. You understand this? That is what is called as asmita. So that drop, like that, every drop is coming out, and when immediately after coming out from Mahat Tattva, it has gained the individuality which is called as asmita, and this pure I-ness, we can say that pure I-ness has the same quality, same knowledge as the Mahat Tattva. Only thing that it has developed the individuality that I am. It is just I am. I am an engineer, I am a doctor, I am rich, I am poor, I am angry, and nothing is there. Just we cannot perceive this stage of ours. Just close your eyes and see whether you can perceive this I am. No, somewhere or the other, you will attach some adjective to it. Then only you will understand this. So this chitta is having a consciousness, and it has the consciousness is nothing but the reflection of the Purusha. Okay, and so it becomes conscious, as if it is the conscious entity. See, the chitta is derived from chit. Okay, so chit means what actually? Chit, it is formed by the word, chitta is formed with the word chit. Chit means to enlighten, to make aware, etc. And if you put a ta in that, it becomes the past participle adjective produced as noun, which is called a chitta. And so the chitta, literal meaning of this word, thus that which is excited, that which is enlightened. Okay, so with this chitta, because chitta has got the potential to be conscious, potential to be aware of, but it cannot become conscious without the proximity of Purusha. And so it is the reflection of Purusha on chitta, and that's why that chitta becomes the conscious entity. So it is the acquired consciousness by chitta. And now chitta is a product of Prakriti. We have just seen that the unmanifest Prakriti to Mahat, Mahat to individual I-ness, which is called a chitta. Now this chitta becomes conscious, and chitta itself feels that it is a conscious entity, and that is the whole problem starts from here. The chitta itself feels that it is conscious by itself. And so whatever the knowledge is coming, it is to the chitta only. It can perceive. It can perceive because it has got the power of perceiveness. So it can perceive everything, but it is because that it has gained that power through the Purusha principle. So if Purusha principle is not there, then it cannot perceive the things. It cannot become the conscious entity. It needs the proximity of Purusha. And so there is a union between this Prakriti and Purusha, but this union is a very mystical union. It is in fact not the union at all. All the time the Purusha is totally different from Prakriti, but it seems that Purusha is getting involved into all these evolution, but Purusha is not getting involved. Purusha is not telling also Prakriti that you get involved. No, it is not like this. Now Chitta gets the consciousness, and Chitta feels that I am conscious, I am Purusha. And there the problem starts. Chitta feels that I am conscious entity, I am the Purusha, and so whatever is happening to me is happening to the Purusha principle, and that is the wrong impression on Chitta. You get the point? See, it is like this. If you put a magnet, a very powerful magnet, and you spread the iron particles around it, okay, these iron particles starts dancing, and at the same time these iron particles acquire the magnetism also. It can attract the other particles. Let us understand this point. Now it has acquired this magnetism because of the proximity of that magnet. Okay, now if suppose those iron particles start feeling that I am the magnet only, that is exactly what is the problem with our Chitta. We feel that that my Chitta is conscious, my Chitta is Purusha principle. Now if suppose I remove the magnet, immediately these iron particles will fall down. They lose their magnetism. Exactly in a similar way, the Chitta gets the consciousness from Purusha, and since it is the pure I-ness, it is like a clean mirror where the reflection of sun is such that as if the sun is there. Does it mean every human being consists of both? That is the Chitta and Prakriti. Yeah, Chitta and Prakriti means Prakriti, the evolution of Prakriti is Chitta only. And as I have already told you that Prakriti made up of 3 gunas. Okay, so Chitta is also having 3 gunas. Satkaryavad. Let us understand this. The whole philosophy based on this Satkaryavad. कारणात जे आहे ते कार्यात आहे. कार्यामध्ये कारणामध्ये कार्य लपलेलं असतं. That is the Satkaryavad. Satkarya. So it is existing. That karya is existing. Sat means existing in the cause. And so whatever the trigunas are there in Prakriti, in every evolute of Prakriti, there are trigunas. So Chitta is also becomes the made up of trigunas only. Only thing that this Chitta has predominance of Sattva Guna, because it is the first evolute. जैसे जैसे हम नीचे जाते जाएंगे हमें समझ में आता है कि ये सत्व गुण कम होते जा रहा है, and at the end actually there is a predominance of tamo guna only. So this Chitta behaves as if he is a Purusha. That is exactly where this Chitta comes into picture. And when this Chitta, still the evolution is not stopped, because that Chitta has got many vasanas of so many lives. So to fulfill those desires, actually it has to evolve still more, because that Chitta wants to experience this universe in the form of Shabda, Rupa, all these things. Okay. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. With these subjects, he want to enjoy this. That's why actually it has come out. And so these forces Chitta, this Asmita Bhav, to go deeper into that. And now how to enjoy this? How to experience this as per his vasanas? So it has to have the mind, 5 Jnanendriyas and 5 Karmendriyas. So on one side, this Asmita only evolves into this mind, 5 Jnanendriya and 5 Karmendriya. But that is not sufficient. You should have the subject also in front of you to enjoy. And so the same Asmita evolves into 5 Tanmatras. What we call it as a subtle elements, subtle bhutas. That is Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. These are the Tanmatras, or it is called as a subtle bhuta. And that subtle bhuta get combined into each other and becomes the gross bhutas, Mahabhuta jala apan म्हणतो, Prithvi, Apa, Teja, Vayu, Akasha. So this is the evolution which completes here, and then the different combination of these gross elements, gross Mahabhutas, the different combination of these two is what you are talking about the universe, the physical universe. There is a predominance. Now where there is a akara or form and everything, there is a predominance of Prithvi Tattva. Then there is a flow. There is a predominance of Jala Tattva. Okay. Streams आहेत, नद्या आहेत, हे आहेत, हे सगळं जलतत्व प्रिडॉमिनंट असतं त्याच्यात. बाकीची तत्व आहेत परंतु ते जलतत्व प्रिडॉमिनंट आहे. किंवा मग वणवा आहे, अग्नी आहे, हे सगळं काही दिसतंय तुम्हाला. याच्यामध्ये प्रिडॉमिनन्स ऑफ तेज. ओके. पृथ्वी, आप, तेज, तेज तत्व हे प्रिडॉमिनंट आहे. बाकी सत्वे नगण्य आहेत, फार थोडी आहे. आणि मग हे वादळ आहे, वारा आहे, हे सगळं जे आपण बघतोय, ओके, ह्याच्यामध्ये प्रिडॉमिनन्स ऑफ वायू. आणि आकाश जिथे पोकळी दिसते, देयर इज अ प्रिडॉमिनन्स ऑफ आकाश तत्व. अँड नाउ इन धिस इव्होल्युशन देयर इज अ सिक्वेन्स, and that sequence is Akasha, then Vayu, then Teja, then Apa, and then the Prithvi. So in Akasha, it is the substratum to enjoy the Shabda. शब्दाचं ज्ञान होण्यासाठी किंवा शब्द एक्सपिरियन्स करण्यासाठी this is the substratum. This is the first evolute. In that evolution, now the second evolute in that Akasha, the second evolute is Vayu. Okay. And so Vayu is a substratum for Sparsha. And so in Vayu, you can have Sparsha as well as Shabda. वायूचा आवाजही येतो आणि वायूचा स्पर्श पण जाणवतो. So these are the two things. Through Vayu, actually you are enjoying two subjects, that is Shabda and Sparsha. Then in that Vayu, there is a Teja Tattva. This is the sequence which is going on. So in Teja, there is a predominance of Rupa, because that Rupa Tanmatra is there predominantly. And so you can see these things. You can have Sparsha of that, and you can have the noise of that. But you cannot test it. Okay, there is no test, and there is no smell also to this Agni. From that evolves the Apa. So in Apa, you can perceive Apa through Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa. So all these things. Ani Rasa. So Rasa is predominant in that flow, in that water where there is a predominance of Jala Tattva. But it can be seen, okay, it can be perceived through sensation, and you can hear the noise of that also, but you cannot smell it. There is no smell. That tanmatra is not there. And in Prithvi, after that there is a Prithvi. It can be perceived through all these 5 elements, predominantly the Gandha. So in Prithvi, you can have Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, all the 5 elements of or the enjoyments, you can have this in Prithvi Tattva. So this is the sequence. Let us understand this point. Now, enjoying this universe, there has to be a Pancha Jnanendriya and Pancha Karmendriya, which that I-ness, that is the Asmita Bhav, gets evolved on one side, the sentient evolution, and another side, it is the insentient evolution. In insentient, there is a Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Tanmatra. Tanmatra means Tat Matra only. There is nothing else. And the combination of these 3, what we call it as a Panchikarana Kriya, we are not going into the details of that because this is not the philosophy lecture, but we are concentrating on Yogasutras. So that is a still deeper philosophical subject. So Tat Matra means that is only, whereas in Mahabhuta, it is a combination, as I have already told you. There is a combination of these 2, and to enjoy this, you should have the Karmendriya and Jnanendriya. And so this Asmita evolves into sentient and unsentient things. And there is the stoppage of this evolution. And so that evolution stops. So the level, that is the paths Mahabhuta, Jnanendriya, Karmendriya आणि मन, हे सगळे जे आहेत, he the last this thing. So it is only the Vikruti, there is no Prakriti. It cannot become Prakriti of anything because after that there is no evolution. Whatever the physical universe you are seeing, that डोंगर आहेत, दर्या आहेत, हे सगळं आहे, याच्यामध्ये पृथ्वी तत्वाचा प्रेडोमिनन्स आहे. जे काही तुम्ही बघताय नदी, नाले, डोंगर, तळ, या सगळ्यामध्ये आपतत्वाचा प्रेडोमिनन्स आहे. जे काही तुम्ही बघताय, वणवे बघताय, आग बघताय, सगळं हे सगळ्यामध्ये तेज तत्वाचं प्रिडॉमिनन्स आहे. आणि मग वारा, हे वादळ, हे सगळं जे तुम्ही बघताय याच्यामध्ये वायू तत्वाचं आहे. आणि आकाश जिथे पूर्ण पोकळी आहे त्याच्यामध्ये फक्त आकाश तत्व आहे. आणि ते आकाश तत्व कसं अनुभवणार? शब्दाच्या रूपाने. वायू तत्व कसं अनुभवणार? शब्द स्पर्शाच्या रूपाने. तेज तत्व कसं अनुभवणार? शब्द स्पर्श रूपाच्या याने. जल तत्व कसं अनुभवणार? शब्द स्पर्श रूप रस याच्या अनुषंगाने. आणि पृथ्वी तत्व कसं अनुभवणार? शब्द स्पर्श रूप रस गंध पाची याने. So this is the evolution theory. Now coming back to our chitta. So this chitta is the purest form of your existence. And it is so pure, तळपता सत्वगुण आहे तो, की तो इतका तळतो, बिकॉज सत्वगुण रिप्रेझेंट्स दी नॉलेज, सत्वगुण रिप्रेझेंट्स दी इल्युमिनेशन, सत्वगुण रिप्रेझेंट्स दी हॅपीनेस. See, these are all the characteristics of sattva-guna. And so it is pure I-ness. Then somebody will ask, then what about the other 2? Because you said that every time there are 3 these things, 3 gunas are there. Yes, there are 3 gunas, but these 2, that is Rajas and Tamas, they balance each other. And so they are ineffective. Okay, because they are still in balanced position. And so they are ineffective. And so only the Sattva Guna is predominantly manifesting. And in that Sattva Guna, it is the reflection of Purusha in such a way that as if that Purusha is there only sitting on this Chitta. And that's why Chitta develops the impression, which is a wrong superimposition of Purusha on Chitta, that I am Purusha only. And that's why actually this Chitta, त्याच्यावर त्यामुळे वृत्ती निर्माण होतात. आता वृत्ती म्हणजे काय? वृत्त, वृत्त धातूपासून झालेलं आहे. वृत्त मीन्स द मुवमेंट. ओके, or the revolution. The vruta root, त्याचा जो शब्द आहे तो वृत्त आहे. So vrut means to behave, to revolve in a circular manner. And ती प्रत्यय जो लावलेला आहे ती normally indicates the basically the looked upon as the movement. Okay, so there is a movement. Now this vritti is nothing but the modification of this chitta. Now when we are talking about the chitta, that chit means to excite. So chitta means that which is becoming conscious. So in that sense, you will find that this mana, buddhi, ahankar, and to that extent, even my physical body is chitta only. So chitta comprises of all these things, because everywhere you are seeing that the consciousness is getting manifested. And that's why this chitta comprises of all these things, and the vrittis are actually developing at physical level, at mental level, at intellectual level, at ego level. So all these are the vrittis. Now vritti means there is a, basically it is a cognitive power. Let us understand this point. Vritti means when it is normally compared with a very calm and quiet water. Okay, so that calm and quiet water means without vritti, that chitta is there. And when there are waves and other things, that is what is called a chitta vritti. Now let us understand this point, that how these vrittis are getting manifested. So whatever is there when you are experiencing this universe, okay, you are cognizing the things. So it is a cognitive modification of chitta is what is called as vritti. If there is no cognition, there is no chance of any vritti. Understand this point. Suppose somebody is going in front of me, okay, and I am not cognizing him. So there is no question of vritti arising because of that person. Even though I hate that person, the vritti cannot develop because I have not cognized him. So every vritti is nothing but the cognition. And so what we call it as it is a cognitive modification. It may be a correct cognition, it may be a wrong cognition, it may be a imaginary cognition, it may be a cognition of the previous experience, or it may be an absence of cognition, that is also a vritti. These are the 5 vrittis which we are taking care of. Pramana, viparya, vikalpa, nidra, smrutayaha. It is nothing but the cognition. That cognition may be wrong cognition. Tumi sarpa bhakta hai. You are cognizing the snake. Okay. But that cognition is wrong cognition. But still the vrittis are developed. तुमच्यामध्ये भीती निर्माण होते, तुम्हाला घाम फुटतो, सगळं होतंय तुम्हाला. So the vrittis are developed because of cognition. तुम्ही बघितलंच नाही तिकडे तर काही प्रश्नच येत नाही. So all the time there has to be a cognition, and at the same time there has to be a reaction. So there are 2 types of cognition and reaction. When you want to say, so the vrittis are because of cognition and vrittis are because of the reaction to the cognition. एखादा माणसाबद्दल प्रचंड राग आहे तुम्हाला, तो माणूस समोर आला, हे पहिले कॉग्नाइज झालं तुम्हाला, आणि लगेच तुमच्या बुद्धीने तुमच्या इगोला सांगितलं की हाच तो माणूस ज्याने तुला फसवलंय, की लगेच दुसरी वृत्ती निर्माण झाली, अरे असं आहे काय, आता बघतो तुला. द सेकंड वृत्ती विच इज द रिॲक्शन. एका पाठोपाठ एक वृत्ती निर्माण होत असतात चित्तामध्ये. अँड दॅट्स वाय इट इज लाईक दी, दगड टाकल्यानंतर जशा वेव्स निर्माण होतात ना, त्याप्रमाणे आपल्या चित्तामध्ये, म्हणजे कधी ऍट इंटेलेक्च्युअल लेवल, समटाइम्स इट इज ऍट इमोशनल लेवल. All these vrittis are there. At emotional level, the vrittis are there. At intellectual level, the vrittis are there. At physical level, the vrittis are there. At ego level, there is a vritti. So the vrittis are, and so this is the chitta vritti, because chitta comprises of all these things. Chitta is nothing but that thing which get excited, that thing which get the consciousness. It is the acquired consciousness, but it shows the consciousness. It manifests the Purusha principle in us. That is what is called a chitta. We have seen that. And so these vrittis are developed at physical level, mental level, intellectual level, and ego level. So that is what is called as vritti. And what Patanjali Muni is talking, that yoga means these chitta vritti nirodha. So rodha means to stop. Okay. And त्याला प्रत्यय लावलाय ni means nishesha. Okay. And so nishesha karna vrittila, that is nirodha, to annihilate these vrittis completely is what is called as yoga. You get this point? This is very important, and that's why actually I have elaborated everything. If any questions are there, you can ask. Because today, let me tell you very frankly, I have to stop 5 minutes before our timing. That means I have to stop at 9:25 because I have another lecture at 9:30 for MA students only, the 4th semester. And so 5 minutes I need in between. So we are stopping at 9:25 instead of 9:30 because 9:30 there I have to start the lecture again. So till this, actually, if any questions are there.
सर एक क्वेश्चन आहे.
बोला.
तुम्ही आता सांगितलं की चित्तामध्ये जे काही तुमच्या म्हणजे मनात येणारे विचार का चित्तात येणारे विचार मग ते कोणतेही असू शकतात ना?
एनी गुड थिंग बॅड थिंग व्हॉटएव्हर,
कोणत्याही प्रकारचे, म्हणजे आनंदाचे असतील, मे बी दुःखाचे असतील, मे बी रागाचे असतील,
एव्हरीथिंग व्हॉटएव्हर इज देअर, इट इज वृत्ती. आणि त्या वृत्तीचा निरोध करणं म्हणजे योग. यू गेट दिस पॉइंट?
या, थँक्यू सर.
आपण शेवट क्वेश्चन आन्सर्सला ठेवणार नाही आहोत का वेळ थोडा?
नाही, आता कसं असतं, आता बोलता बोलता काही प्रश्न डोक्यात आलेले असतात, ते पटकन विचारून त्याचं निरसन झालं तर जास्ती चांगलं असतं, बाकी काही नाही. म्हणून मी म्हटलं, बाकी काही नाही. So this is what is called as, it is basically the sutra in a way defines the meaning of word yoga as a method. काय मेथड आहे? तर चित्तवृत्तीचा निरोध करणं. This is the means to attain the yoga. Now the second question immediately arises, then what is yoga? Okay, so when chittavritti nirodha achieves, what happens to that? That is exactly which is now in the next aphorism Patanjali Muni is talking about, that tada drashtuhu swarupeva sthanam. Tada means after that. What after? After your chitta vrittis are stopped totally, then what happens? Tada, that time, drashtuhu, that seer principle, स्वरूपे अवस्थानम, स्वतःच्या स्वरूपामध्ये अवस्थित राहतो. नाउ दिस इज अगेन ए व्हेरी प्रॉब्लेमॅटिक सिच्युएशन.
विकास, 2 प्रश्न आलेत.
हा,
मीनलनी विचारलाय निरोधला इंग्लिश मध्ये काय म्हणतात?
रिस्ट्रेन.
आणि तिथे आयफोन म्हणून कोणाचा आहे?
और सिजेशन. सिजेशन ऑल्सो यू कॅन से.
अनम्यूट करून विचारा. आयफोन म्हणून आता हँड रेज केलाय ना? ओके, अनम्यूट करा ना, मी दिलाय ऍक्सेस अनम्यूटचा तुम्हाला. अच्छा,
रश्मी बापट.
हा, अरे इथे देते मी. अजून एक आहे का? मी ज्याच्यावर हँड रेज केलाय त्याच्याच वर अनम्यूट करायला देते.
रश्मी बापट आहे.
कळलं मला. तिथं आज तू अनम्यूट म्हणते पण करता नाही येते तिला. अनम्यूट करता नाही येते का? कर आता अनम्यूट. नाही, मग तुझ्या ह्याच्यामध्ये काहीतरी इश्यू आहे. कारण मी आता अलाव पार्टिसिपेंट्स टू अनम्यूट म्हटलं होतं.
ते कायमस्वरूपी तसंच ठेव मग. ठीक आहे, आपण नंतर विचारूया. रश्मी ना, ठीक आहे, नंतर विचारूया प्रश्न. सो नाउ व्हॉट इज हॅपनिंग इज दॅट when you are stopping this, कोणतरी आता प्रश्न विचारला की हाऊ टू डू दॅट इज एक्झॅक्टली व्हॉट इज द अष्टांग योग. तो निरोध कसा साधायचा असा कोणतरी आता मी बघितलं प्रश्न. तर दॅट इज एक्झॅक्टली व्हॉट इज अष्टांग योग. दॅट इज द प्रॅक्टिस ऑफ योग. ओके, तो नंतर आहे. पहिले फिलॉसॉफी आहे. दिस प्रथम पाद इज द फिलॉसॉफिकल पार्ट टोटली. इट इज व्हॉट इज कॉल्ड एज समाधी पाद. सो तदा द्रष्टुः स्वरूपेव स्थानम. So now we have already seen that the Purusha principle, it is basically akarta. And so immediately the question arises is that how he is getting affected because of these vrittis. When he is akarta, when he is pure in its form, so how he is getting again the into its own essential nature, get established into its own essential nature. That is the question. So it is basically all the time, it is unaffected only. Let us understand this point. As I have already told you, it is basically the reflection of that on chitta, and chitta is getting involved, feeling that he is the Purusha principle. Okay. स्वच्छ चांदण आहे आणि त्या खालच्या तळ्यामध्ये वरच्या चंद्राचं हे पडलेलं आहे, प्रतिबिंब पडलेलं आहे. ऍज इफ तो चंद्र तिथे आहे पाण्यात, आणि आता त्या पाण्यामध्ये जर लाटा निर्माण झाल्या तर तो चंद्रही असा होतो. कळलं की नाही? पण तो वरती बसलेला जो चंद्र आहे तो तसाच आहे. आपल्याला असं वाटतं की चंद्राला हालचाल झाली, पाण्यामुळे चंद्रही इकडे तिकडे व्हायला लागला. That is the reflection. And so that moon is always there, unaffected. Exactly in a similar way, this Purusha principle is always, it is not, that's why it is called a mystical union. It is not actually a union. It is absolutely not a union. It is a mystical union which is called as Sanyoga. Okay, Purusha Prakriti Sanyoga. Now merely it is, Prakriti is not only a matter, it has got the potential to evolve. Okay, and that's why it is called Prakriti. So it is Prakarshena Kruti. It has got that potential to do, it has got that potential to act. दगडासारखं नाहीये ते. It is not matter. It has a potential, but it cannot show its potential without the proximity of Purusha. That is the only thing. And in this evolution theory, you will find that this is something which is happening, this mystical union which is happening there. Okay, in fact there is absolutely no union. Every time Purusha principle is totally separated from Prakriti, and this Prakriti, the evolute of which is the Chitta, individual Chitta. Chitta finds that this is me only, that Purusha is nothing but me, which is the Ajnana, which is the, ज्याला आपण अज्ञान म्हणतो, ते अज्ञान म्हणजे हे आहे. Because of this Ajnana, actually Chitta feels that the Purush is getting affected with these Chitta Vrittis. So in a way, the direct and actual realization, okay, of this purity of Purusha principle in its pristine state is the aim of yoga. Okay, so thus yoga is realization of total separateness of Purusha and Prakriti. And when you realize this thing, afterwards we'll see that the gunas which are getting evolved into this universe, their goal is finished. What is the purpose of these gunas? To give the experience and then take it to the upper varga. And once it is achieved, these gunas get perfectly in balanced position and it goes back into that pradhana prakriti, and what remains is the kevala purusha, and that is kaivalya. Tada drashtuhu swarupeva sthanam. So that kevala avastha, that kevala purusha principle remains when all the chitta vrittis are annihilated. Then what remains? There is no prakriti because it is balanced and it goes out unmanifested. And what remains is only the purusha principle. That is what these people are saying, that tada drashtuhu swarupeva sthanam. Now, one thing which I would like to tell you is that this purusha cannot do anything. Okay, it cannot perceive also. Therefore, in true sense, it is not the perceiver or it is not the seer also. Drashta pan nahi hai to. It is just there. Akarta hai to. He is not doer also. He is not asking anybody to do something. He is just there. That is the beauty of Purusha. It is only a Chaitanya and that's it. Nothing else. But the perceiving entity is in true sense is Chitta. Chitta is perceiving because it has acquired the consciousness from Purusha principle. And that's why the Chitta becomes the perceiver. Okay, but it is the evolute of Prakriti. Therefore, it cannot perceive without the presence of Purusha. So it becomes conscious, Chitta becomes conscious only in the presence of Purusha. In this sense, the ultimate seer principle is Purusha. Even though Purusha is not doing anything, this Chitta is drawing the consciousness from Purusha. Without Purusha, it cannot have the consciousness. So in this sense, the ultimate drashta is Purusha. But he is there only. या इव्होल्युशन प्रोसेस मध्ये तो तसाच आहे. फक्त त्या चित्ताला वाटतंय की तो इन्व्हॉल्व झालाय माझ्या. किंबहुना ते चित्तच समजतंय की मी पुरुष आहे. आणि ते चित्त जेव्हा समजतं की मी पुरुष आहे तेव्हा त्याला असं वाटतं की हे सगळे ज्या वृत्ती आहेत या सगळ्या चित्तामध्ये ज्या काही सुखाच्या दुःखाचे सगळे जे काही प्रसंग येत आहेत, सगळे जे काही भोग होत आहेत, एक्सपिरियन्सेस येत आहेत, हे सगळे चित्ताला वाटतं त्या पुरुष प्रिन्सिपलला आहे. कारण ते जे प्युअर चित्त आहे त्याच्यामध्ये पूर्णपणे पुरुषाचं प्रतिबिंब उमटलेलं आहे. And so it feels. So it is because of this sanyoga, Prakriti is excited and begins to evolve, and the whole phenomenal world, whether material or psychical, whether manifested or unmanifested, is an evolution of Prakriti. त्यामुळे चित्तच बाइंड झालाय, चित्तच फ्री होणार आहे. तो पुरुष प्रिन्सिपल तसंच आहे, जागेवरच आहे, ते कुठेच हललेलं नाहीये, हे लक्षात घ्या. आणि म्हणून ज्या वेळेला तुमच्या ह्याच्यावरच्या ज्या वृत्तीज आहेत चित्तावरच्या, म्हणजे तुमच्या मनावर, बुद्धीवर, बिकॉज चित्त कंप्राइजेस ऑफ ऑल दिस थिंग्स. ओके, चित्ताची व्याख्या आपण बघितली आहे, दॅट विच इज एक्साइटेड. ओके, सो इन दॅट सेन्स your mind, your intellect, your ego, your body, everything is getting excited. Everything becomes the conscious. Everything can act because it is the evolute of Prakriti. So everything has got the potential to act. But only when there is a reflection of Purusha, reflection of pure consciousness, then only all these instruments will work. या छायाजी विचारायचंय? अनम्यूट करा, अनम्यूट अनम्यूट करा छायाजी.
मी देते ऍक्सेस त्या.
तू काढून टाक ना, कोणी नाही बोलणार मध्ये.
अरे अनम्यूट आपोआप होतं, चुकून होतं.
हा बोला.
Can I say, sir? Can you hear me?
हा.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, sure.
So, do you mean to say, sir, that the bhoga and the apavarga, the bhoga is given to the prakriti itself, that is the chitta?
Yeah, it is chitta. Apavarga is also chitta. And it is getting convinced that, oh, this is not the acquired, this is not the real consciousness of mind. I have got the acquired consciousness. हे नॉलेज त्या चित्ताला होतं कारण चित्ताकडे परसिव्हिंग पॉवर आहे. हे जेव्हा नॉलेज त्याला ऍट द एंड होतं त्यावेळेला चित्त म्हणतो की ओके इट्स ऑल राईट, सो नाउ माय जॉब इज ओव्हर. And it gets into the pradhana prakriti and what remains is the purusha. ते आहे तिथे, चित्त इथे आलेलं आहे आणि हे चित्त परत गेलं. पुरुष प्रिन्सिपल तसंच आहे. तदा द्रष्टुः स्वरूपे व स्थानं म्हणजे ते तिथेच अवस्थित आहे, ते कुठेच गेलेलं नाहीये. ते कुठे कुठेही
So the absence of the bhoga is upper varga.
Yeah, it is the अपवर्ग. मीन्स एक्सपिरियन्स घेत 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 नंतर तो परत वर जातो, अपवर्गाकडे जातो. अँड ऍट वन पोझिशन जेव्हा ऋतंबरा प्रज्ञा चालू होते त्यावेळेला शेवटची जी स्टेप आहे दॅट इज व्हॉट इज कॉल्ड एज दी फायनल डिस्क्रिमिनेटिव्ह पॉवर. दॅट पुरुष अँड प्रकृती इज डिफरंट. हे चित्ताला कळतं. चित्ताने स्वतःला बांधून घेतलंय, चित्तालाच सगळे भोग आणि हे मिळत आहेत आणि चित्तालाच कळलंय कारण हे सगळे भोग वगैरे का मिळत आहेत चित्ताला, कारण चित्ताला असं वाटतंय की मीच पुरुष प्रिन्सिपल आहे, मीच चैतन्यमय आहे. त्याला हे कळत नाहीये की हे चैतन्य मला पुरुषाकडून आलेलं आहे. हे जेव्हा त्याला कळतं त्यावेळेला त्याचा प्रवास संपतो आणि तो प्रवास संपला की तो मूळ प्रकृतीत, प्रधान प्रकृतीत विलीन होतो. जाऊया पुढे. आणि तिसऱ्या ह्याच्यात काय म्हणजे आता काय झालंय, पहिल्या ह्याच्यात त्यांनी सांगितलं योग म्हणजे काय तर चित्तवृत्ती निरोध. आणि मग ती चित्तवृत्तीचा निरोध झाल्यानंतर त्या पुरुषाचं काय असतं तर ते त्यांनी सांगितलंय तदा द्रष्टुः स्वरूपे व स्थानम. तो त्याच्या इट गेट एस्टॅब्लिश इन टू इट्स ओन इसेन्शियल नेचर. दॅट इज द केवलावस्था. So that is only the remains, what remains is the only Purusha, केवल पुरुष. आणि मग इतर वेळेला काय होतं म्हणजे आता आपली जी सगळ्यांची जी अवस्था आहे ती कशी असते, वृत्ती सारूप्यम इतरत्र. सो at other times, that means whenever one is not established in its own essential nature, there is a continued identification with the modification of chitta. त्यावेळेला काय होतं की as if this purusha is getting involved into this whole prakriya. That is vritti sarupyam itaratra. Now see, purusha is essentially a seer and not connected in any way with the outside universe. However, normally one always assumes that one's own Purusha is involved in the worldly affairs, which is not so. हे कधीच नव्हतं. हे अविद्येमुळे आम्हाला असं वाटायला लागलंय. कळलं की नाही, अविद्येमुळे आम्हाला असं वाटायला लागलंय. सो द रिफ्लेक्शन आपण मगाशी बघितलं तसं रिफ्लेक्शन ऑफ मून इन लेक. कळलं की नाही, तो मून तिथेच आहे, तो चंद्र तिथेच आहे, इट इज अनअफेक्टेड. पण त्या पाण्यामध्ये ज्याचं प्रतिबिंब त्याचं पडलंय त्या प्रतिबिंबाला जेव्हा वाटायला लागतं, त्या पाण्याला वाटायला लागतं की हा चंद्र म्हणजेच मी आहे आणि त्या चंद्रामुळे मी प्रकाशमय झालेलो आहे, असं त्या पाण्याला वाटायला लागतं की दिस इज द इसेन्स ऑफ माय एक्झिस्टन्स. दॅट रिफ्लेक्शन इज द इसेन्स ऑफ माय एक्झिस्टन्स अँड बिकॉज ऑफ विच आय एम गेटिंग एनलायटन्ड. आणि मग त्या पाण्यामध्ये जेव्हा हे होतात तेव्हा त्या पाण्याला असं वाटतं अरे खरंच की माझा जो इसेन्स आहे तोही हलतोय. पण ऍक्च्युअली इट इज द रिफ्लेक्शन ऑफ दॅट मून विच इज देअर ओनली. ते हलत नाहीये. वी कॅन गेट स्मेल गंध फ्रॉम विंड वायू. then why vayu have only shabda and sparsha principle? Yes, it is the kram, toji sequence. That sequence you have to understand. See, whatever is there, the first required, एक प्रश्न आलेला इथे तो सांगतोय परत मागे जाऊन. See, whatever has to be existing, it has to have the space. Okay, and so the first evolute is the Akasha. Okay, now these 5 tanmatras, these subjects must have a substratum. So out of that, the Shabda, the substratum is Akasha. Okay, that is the first evolute. आणि म्हणूनच शब्दाच्या पलीकडे गेलं की ते परब्रह्म आहे. आणि म्हणून आपण जेव्हा ध्यान करतो तेव्हा वाचिक, नंतर मग उपांशु, मग मानसिक, आणि मग परावाणीत जातो आपण. दॅट परावाणी इज बियॉन्ड दॅट थिंग, अँड वी कॅन इन मेडिटेशन वी कॅन एक्सपिरियन्स दॅट थिंग. आणि म्हणून ध्यानाच्या वेळेला ग्रॉस टू सटल जातो आपण. त्या ग्रॉस मध्ये पण, नादामध्ये पण ग्रॉस म्हणजे वाचिक आहे, वैखरी वाणी ज्याला आपण म्हणतो. कळलं की नाही? दिस इज द ग्रॉसेस्ट थिंग की जी ऐकू येते तुम्हाला, ज्याच्यामुळे तुम्हाला शरीराची हालचाल करावी लागते. कळलं की नाही? आणि मग हळूहळू तो जातो, आणि ते शब्द जेव्हा थांबतो त्यावेळेला आपण पलीकडे, दॅट इज द सायलेन्स, ऍब्सोल्यूट सायलेन्स. आपण घेऊ कधीतरी एकदा तुमचा हाही वर्ग घेऊया ध्यानाचा, दॅट यू विल एक्सपिरियन्स दिस. आता मी लोणावळ्याला वर्ग घेतला होता काही आपल्याच स्टुडंट लोकांचा. आय हॅव गिव्हन देम द एक्सपिरियन्स दॅट व्हॉट इज दॅट. माहिती कोण? मिनल होती. अजून कोण होतं मला माहित नाही, पण त्यांना वंदना होती ना, वंदना होती, करेक्ट. सो दिस इज एक्झॅक्टली, सो दिस शब्दानंतर कुठचीच तन्मात्रा नाहीये, परंतु त्या आकाशामध्ये वायू निर्माण झाला. कारण वायूला परत अवकाश पाहिजे की नको? नुसताच वायू कसा असेल? त्यामुळे अवकाशाला वायू आला, आणि म्हणून त्या वायूमध्ये तुम्हाला दोन्ही हे दिसतात, शब्द आणि स्पर्श दोन्ही तुम्हाला आकलन करता येतं तुम्हाला. त्या वायूनंतर मग तेज प्रिन्सिपल आलेला आहे. त्यामुळे हे जे आहे ग्रॉस होत चाललेलं आहे तुमचं, आणि ग्रॉस पासून सटल होत जातं तुमचं. त्यावेळेला तुम्हाला कळतं की, आणि म्हणून पृथ्वी तत्व म्हणजे थोडक्यात म्हणजे हे जे काही नेम अँड फॉर्म ज्याला आपण म्हणतो ना, that name and form can be experienced predominantly through gandha, but there are other things also. You can perceive it by naked eyes, you can taste it, everything. As far as पृथ्वी तत्व ज्याच्यात प्रिडॉमिनंट आहे, अशा सगळ्या ज्या गोष्टी आहेत त्या सगळ्या गोष्टी या 5ही यांनी भरलेल्या आहेत. परंतु जलतत्वामध्ये गंध तन्मात्रा नाहीये, परंतु बाकी 4 आहेत. पाण्याचा वास नाहीये, पाण्याला गंध नाहीये, परंतु त्याचा आवाज येतो, त्याचा रस, त्याला चव आहे. कळलं की नाही? त्याचा स्पर्श जाणवतो, सगळं होतं त्याच्यात. त्यामुळे हा क्रम आहे, एक एक कमी होत आहे. आणि तसंच आपल्याला साधनेमध्ये हळूहळू कमी करायचं आहे. शब्द स्पर्श रूप रस गंधातून हळूहळू कमी करत जायचं आहे. आणि शेवट जो शब्द आहे, तो शब्द सुद्धा जेव्हा आपण थांबवतो त्यावेळेला व्हॉट रिमेन्स इज द डार्कनेस, व्हॉट रिमेन्स इज द ओनली सायलेन्स. अँड इन दॅट सायलेन्स यू विल एक्सपिरियन्स दॅट इसेन्स ऑफ सच्चिदानंद. And that is the meditative practice that you have to understand. So I think I answered your question. Whosoever has asked, I really don't know. मी पटकन वाचलं म्हणून ते केलं. And so now that you have to understand, but the problem with us is that we really love this chitta only. Because we also feel, our chitta is also feel that I am only the Purusha principle. कळलं की नाही? इवन याच्यात सुद्धा आपण बघतो ना की देर इज ए पौर्णिमेचा चंद्र इतका सुंदर, इतका छान असतो की आपल्याला चंद्र इतका आवडतो की आपण त्याच्यावरती कविता काय करतो, काय काय धमाल करत असतो. कळलं की नाही? पण आपण हे विसरून जातो की तो जो सुंदर चांदणं प्रकाश पडलाय चंद्राचा सुंदर, अँड वी रिअली एन्जॉयड ऑल दिस थिंग्स अँड वी स्टार्ट लव्हिंग द मून. बट वी at that time we forget that this light is because of the sun, and we don't consider sun, we don't love sun, we love moon. आणि मग बायकांच्या चेहऱ्याची त्याला उपमा काय देतो, त्याच्यावर कविता काय करतो, त्याच्या शीतल चांदण्यात फिरायला काय जातो, बिकॉज वी लव्ह मून. एक्झॅक्टली इन ए सिमिलर वे वी लव्ह अवर चित्त, because we strongly feel that chitta is conscious, but we forget at that time that this chitta is conscious. It is the reflection of that pure consciousness. That is the Purusha principle. We forget that and we love chitta. आणि आपले सगळे व्यवहार मग त्या चित्ताला हे करण्यासाठी असतात. मग शरीराला चांगलं तूप रोटी खाऊन मस्त करा, भावना सगळ्या चांगल्या करा, कळलं की नाही? सगळ्याला खुराक देत असतो आपण, आपल्या भावनेला देत असतो, आपल्या विचारांना देत असतो, आपल्या इगोला देत असतो, आपल्या शरीराला देत असतो, बिकॉज वी स्ट्रॉंगली फील दॅट दिस चित्त इज कॉन्शियस अँड वी रिअली लव्ह दिस चित्त. अँड दॅट इज द मोस्ट डिफिकल्ट अज्ञान टू रिमूव्ह. हे अज्ञान रिमूव्ह करणं हे भयंकर कठीण आहे काम. दॅट वी हॅव टू अंडरस्टँड. अँड देअरफॉर वृत्ती सारूप्यम इतरत्र means at other times when you are not getting emancipated, at that time you strongly feel that this chitta, that means that Purusha principle, is getting involved into it. So it is the identification with the modification of chitta. So it is the wrong identification. That is what is called as the vritti sarupyam itaratra. So thus, now all these vrittis, let us understand this point, they are actually the modification at everything. Means there is a vritti at intellectual level, there is a vritti at emotional level, there is a vritti at ego level. All these vrittis, either it is at ego level or the emotional level or the thinking level or the discriminative level or at the physical level. So every time our chitta is getting engaged, and chitta means all these things. Let us understand. Every time keep this in mind. Then only you will understand all the things. Chitta means all these things. And so the vrittis are getting one by one, one by one. एक क्षण थांबत नाही आपला की जिथे आपल्या वृत्ती नसतात. So now you will imagine that how difficult it is to stop that chitta vritti nirodha. How it is difficult. So that you have to understand. So these are the three aphorisms which are very important. Yogas chitta vritti nirodha, then tada drashtuhu swarupeva sthanam, and vritti sarupyam itaratra. Now the next this thing is that vrittaya. Now vrittis are there, and now Patanjali Muni has classified all the vrittis into 5, and that's why he is talking about this vrittayaha panchatayaha, klishta aklishtaha. So now klishta and aklishta. Now vrittayaha panchataya. So modification of chitta are 5-fold. Okay, and either they are painful or not painful. Now there are many interpretations of this klishta and aklishta. Let us go one by one. Okay. The vritti consists, as I have already told you, this vritti is nothing but the cognitive modification. Okay. And so it is the cognitive modification and it is the reaction to the cognition. Both are the vrittis. कसं असतं, समोर पुस्तक आहे, ते मी मनाने बघितलं. पुस्तक मनाने पहिले इंद्रियांनी बघितलं, इंद्रियांच्या मागे मन आहे. ते मनाने मी बघितलं, ते बघितल्यानंतर ते बुद्धीच्या समोर ठेवलं मनाने. बुद्धीने अनालिसिस केलं त्याचं की हे काय आहे बाबा, हे काय आहे, कसले कागद आहेत, काय कागद आहेत, हे कागद आहेत. आधी पहिले हे अनालिसिस केलं, त्याच्यानंतर मग अरे हे कागद नुसती नाही आहेत, हे काहीतरी बाइंड वगैरे केलेलं आहे, अनालिसिस केलं. आणि फायनली ही हॅज डिसाइडेड, द बुद्धी हॅज डिसाइडेड दिस इज द बुक. टिल दॅट टाइम देर इज नो कॉग्निशन. हे जे अनालिसिस आहे, हे अनालिसिस बुद्धी अहंकाराच्या समोर ठेवतो आणि अहंकार सांगतो येस हे पुस्तक आहे आणि याचं ज्ञान मला झालेलं आहे, हे अहंकार सांगतो. That is the vritti. I know that this is the book. So this is the modification. This is the vritti. Then the another वृत्ती starts. अरे हे मी वाचाय रे, फालतू हे पुस्तक फेकून दे. Another वृत्ती starts. ओके, किंवा अरे हे खूप चांगलं पुस्तक आहे, संग्रह ठेवायला पाहिजे. नेक्स्ट वृत्ती स्टार्ट. दुसरा कोणतरी सांगतो तुला काय अक्कल आहे काय, पुस्तक किती चांगलं आहे ते, की मग त्याच्यावरती आपण रागवतो. चौथी वृत्ती स्टार्ट. एक पुस्तक कॉग्निशन घेतलं, त्याच्या रिॲक्शन्स वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारे होत गेल्या, आणि जसे पाण्यामध्ये तरंग निर्माण होतात, सेंटर इज दॅट, तसंच हे सेंटर असतं चित्त, आणि त्याच्यातून अनंत वृत्ती बाहेर पडतात. इट इज बिकॉज ऑफ द कॉग्निशन. विदाउट कॉग्निशन देर इज नो वृत्ती. सो इट इज ए कॉग्निटिव्ह मॉडिफिकेशन. टेक्निकली इट इज द कॉग्निशन और द कॉन्शियस मेंटल स्टेट. आणि त्या 5 प्रकारच्या आहेत. 5 प्रकारच्या आहेत याचा अर्थ काय, सगळ्या वृत्ती त्या 5 मध्येच मोडल्या पाहिजेत का? तर पतंजली मुनींचं म्हणणं आहे की मोस्ट ऑफ द थिंग्स आर कमिंग अंडर दिस 5 हेड्स. Now what is klishta and aklishta? So now vrittis consist of jnana and pratikriya. I have already told you. It is the cognition and it is the reaction to the cognition. With cognition there is a vritti, and with reaction there is again a vritti. Now if no reaction, then it is aklishta. When there is no reaction, it is aklishta. This is one of the modification, one of the meaning of this aklishta and klishta. The another meaning or way of interpretation, the another interpretation is this, that when seeker attains a samprajnata samadhi, till that time all our vrittis, normally the fluctuation of chitta results in happiness and misery. Let us understand this point. Every moment, whatever is there in front of you, either it is a happiness or it is the misery. And when there is a happiness, we develop another vritti of attachment. Sukhanushayi ragaha and dukkhanushayi dveshaha. And if it is miserable, we develop the hatred. All these vrittis are there. So every time something is happening in front of me and I am reacting to it with raga or dvesha. So all these vrittis are there, and this is because of the worldly events. So whenever the worldly events are there, and mostly 99.99%, we are coming across with these worldly things only. And so the vrittis are there, which are all klishta, because ultimately, even though it is a pleasurable event, according to Muni Patanjali, that we will see afterwards, according to Patanjali Muni, that event or that happiness also ultimately leads to misery. So dukkha vivekinaha, जो विवेकी पुरुष असतो त्याला त्या हॅपीनेस मध्ये पण दुःखच दिसत असतं. So all these things which are there connected with these 5 kleshas. Okay, all these 5 kleshas are there. Okay, avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha, all these kleshas are there. Under the governance of these kleshas, whenever we are behaving, all these vrittis are klishta vrittis. Okay, so they are always painful. Even though your the experience is happy experience, ultimately it leads to dukkha. Because Patanjali Muni has given 2 channels how this happiness also ultimately leads to dukkha. परिणाम ताप संस्कार हे एक चॅनल आहे, आणि गुणवृत्ती विरोध हा दुसरा आहे. ते सूत्र येईल आपलं नंतर. That we'll see afterwards in the second chapter. It is there. Okay, and so Vivekin, those who have developed their power of analysis and discrimination, for him, even though the event is happy event, it leads to dukkha, and so he develops the vairagya for that. So these are all the klishta vrittis. And when the seeker attains this samprajnata samadhi, then he starts looking at the event of life with awareness, and hence the modification of chitta here onwards leads to the ultimate aim of yoga, that is the emancipation. So during that period, the modifications are not painful, but leads to the ultimate goal. अल्टिमेट गोल होईपर्यंत चित्तामध्ये वृत्ती येणारच आहेत. पण काही वृत्ती अशा असतात की बिकॉज ऑफ दीज वृत्तीज यू आर ट्रेडिंग ऑन दिस पाथ व्हेरी फास्ट. सो दीज आर दी अक्लिष्ट वृत्तीज. या अनम्यूट करा छाया.
सर जरा परत सांगा ना.
कसं असतं, आपलं जे काही वर्तन आहे हे वर्तन आपण 5 क्लेशाच्या अंडर करत असतो. कळलं की नाही? जे काही समोर दिसेल ते आयदर इट इज पेनफुल और इट इज ब्लिसफुल, व्हॉट एव्हर इट मे बी, बिकॉज इट इज अंडर द गव्हर्नन्स ऑफ 5 क्लेशात. बरोबर आहे. परंतु पतंजली मुनींनी सांगितलंय ते जरी सुखकारक असलं तरी देखील अल्टिमेटली भौतिक गोष्टीतलं सुख हे दुःखकारकच फायनली होते आणि म्हणून त्या क्लिष्ट आहेत. पण जेव्हा तुम्ही स्पिरिच्युअल लाईनला जाता, जेव्हा तुम्ही संप्रज्ञात समाधीत जाता, तेव्हा तुमचा अवेअरनेस इतका वाढतो की तुम्ही जास्त जवळ जाता त्या अल्टिमेट रियालिटीच्या, आणि त्यावेळेला ज्या वृत्ती निर्माण होतात त्या वृत्ती ह्या त्या अल्टिमेट रियालिटीच्या जवळ जाणाऱ्या असतात आणि म्हणून त्या अक्लिष्ट आहेत. इट इज नॉट पेनफुल बट इट इज ऍक्च्युअली हेल्पिंग. आपण समाधी साधना विभूती पादामध्ये बघणार आहोत आपण की काही विभूती अशा असतात की विच आर प्री रेक्विजिट फॉर कैवल्य. So those vrittis are not the hurdles, or those vibhutis are not the hurdles, but they are required to know this universe. And once you know these elements, 25 elements, you will understand that all these things are nothing but the jada. It has no consciousness. The consciousness is only one. And you develop the vairagya. And when you really understand that Purusha and Prakriti are different, that means you experience this thing. Experiential knowledge ज्या वेळेला तुम्हाला मिळतं ध्यानातून, त्यावेळेला तुम्हाला लख प्रकाश पडतो आणि तेव्हा ती विवेक ख्याती निर्माण होते. आणि ज्या वेळेला विवेक ख्याती निर्माण होते त्यावेळेला यू बिकम दी ऑमनिसेंट अँड ऑमनिपोटेंट. परंतु त्या ज्ञानाचं अजूनही कैवल्य मिळालं नाहीये. त्या कारण की तुम्हाला ते झालंय. दॅट आयनेस इज देअर, स्टील देअर. ओके, दॅट इज द फर्स्ट इव्हॉल्यूट आफ्टर महत. सो इट इज अगेन दॅट आयनेस रिमेन्स, दॅट प्युअर आयसेन्स. सो वेन यू डेव्हलप द डिसइंटरेस्टेडनेस फॉर दिस प्युअर आयनेस, then only you go to Kaivalya. So till that time all these vrittis are non-painful, अक्लिष्ट असतात. आणि म्हणून आत्मसाक्षात्कारापर्यंत ज्या वृत्ती उत्पन्न होतात त्याचं तिसरं आता इंटरप्रिटेशन की आत्मसाक्षात्कारापर्यंत ज्या वृत्ती निर्माण होतात त्या पंचक्लेशातून आलेल्या असतात. आणि एकदा का आत्मसाक्षात्कार झाला, जीवनमुक्त ज्याला आपण म्हणतो पुरुष, त्या जीवनमुक्ताच्या याच्यात सुद्धा चित्तात वृत्ती उत्पन्न होत असतात. बट इट डझंट अफेक्ट हिम. आपल्या चित्तवृत्ती आपल्याला अफेक्ट करतात, त्याला अफेक्ट करत नाहीत. सो आत्मसाक्षात्कारानंतरच्या ज्या वृत्तीज आहेत त्या अक्लिष्ट वृत्तीज आहेत. असं तिसरं त्याचं इंटरप्रिटेशन दिलं जातं. यू गेट द पॉइंट? सो दीज आर ऑल द डिफरंट इंटरप्रिटेशन्स, बट all are sensible interpretations, the logical interpretations. ठीक आहे. and now the next sutra, आणि आपण थांबूया इथे. now next sutra is the what are the 5, as I have already told you, this is in a sutra form. so sutras, they are not constructed haphazardly, there is a perfect sequence. and so वृत्ती निरोध करायचा आहे. So what is vritti? So they are 5. What are those 5? So it is now they are giving us as the pramana, viparyaya, vikalpa, nidra, smrutayaha. So these are the vrittis. So now, as I have already told you, in yoga philosophy, the word vritti has been used technically to imply cognition. Without cognition there is not. जेव्हा आपण गाढ झोपेत असतो कुठलीही वृत्ती नसते, because there is no cognition. स्वप्नामध्ये असतं, because स्वप्नामध्ये you are experiencing something, because your mind is alive and your senses are alive. Sense organs are retiring, but the senses are remain. That tanmatras are there, they are not retiring. Let us understand this point. And so whatever experience you are getting, it leads to the vritti in dream state. But in deep sleep state, there is no cognition. And so there is no vritti. So it is the absence of vritti. And so cognition has to be there to have the vritti. But one more question will come afterwards, that how then the nidra is a vritti, that we will see afterwards. I will explain you how that nidra is a vritti. But now, what are these 5 vrittis? It is the pramana. Pramana means the correct knowledge. Then the viparya, that is the incorrect knowledge. Vikalpa, imaginary knowledge. Nidra, that is the deep sleep. And the smritayaha, that means it is the memory. So with these are the 5 vrittis. These are all the 5 cognitive modification of chitta. So this cognition may be the correct cognition, may be a wrong cognition, which is called as viparya, may be a imaginary cognition, which is called as vikalpa, may be a renewal or the getting back this old cognition, which is called as smriti. And there is a absence of cognition की त्याचे पण चित्तावर परिणाम होत असतात. That is the nidra. These are the 5 these things pramana. All these pramanas. So pramana, viparya, vikalpa, nidra, and smrutayaha. These are the 5 cognitive modifications of chitta. Now every cognition. Suppose तुम्हाला एखादा माणूस समोर दिसला की ज्याने तुम्हाला लुबाडलाय, तर चित्तवृत्ती चालवणार काही तुमच्या चित्तवृत्तीमध्ये काय राग निर्माण होणार, हे निर्माण होणार. इट इज द प्रमाण वृत्ती याला म्हणतात, की प्रत्यक्ष बघितलंय ना तुम्ही त्या माणसाला, आणि त्याच्याबरोबर स्मृती पण आहे, कारण स्मृती झाली की यांनी आपल्याला गंडवला होता. सो बिकॉज ऑफ दॅट इज ऑल्सो ए स्मृती. तर या 2 वृत्तीच निर्माण झाल्या. अँड व्हॉट इज द रिॲक्शन टू दॅट कॉग्निशन? दॅट यू बिकम अँग्री, you reacted in a violent way. Okay, all these are the vrittis. It is the reaction. One is the cognition and one is the reaction. And मग त्या रिॲक्शन मधून अजून बऱ्याच काय काय येतात आणि लाटांवर लाटा येत जातात. So it is very difficult to stop these reactions. It is very difficult to stop these modifications. So this is what is called as vikalpa. Now pramana and viparya comprises all those images which are formed by some kind of direct contact through the sense organs with the outer world. Pramana and viparya. Viparya is a wrong knowledge, but still it has got the direct contact of your sense organ with the object. विपर्य रॉंग नॉलेज, पण तरी देखील डायरेक्ट कॉन्टॅक्ट आहे तुमचा. अंधारामध्ये दोरी आहे पण तुम्ही बघताय त्याला साप. इट इज विपर्य रॉंग नॉलेज, बट स्टील देर इज अ कॉन्टॅक्ट ऑफ युअर सेन्स ऑर्गन्स. ओके, आणि लाईट लावल्यानंतर परत देर इज अ कॉन्टॅक्ट ऑफ द सेन्स ऑर्गन विथ दॅट रोप. सो अगेन देर इज अ वृत्ती. हायसं वाटणं ही पण वृत्ती आहे. अरे बाबा हा साप नाहीये, ही पण वृत्ती आहे. Because you are reacting to that correct cognition, आणि जेव्हा भीती वाटली, you are reacting to the wrong cognition. So it is the cognitive modification of chitta which is called as the vritti. You get this point? And now vikalpa and smriti comprises all those images or modifications of mind which are produced without any kind of contact. Okay, विकल्प म्हणजे काय? विकल्प इमॅजिनरी थिंग. काही इमॅजिन करू शकता तुम्ही, ते शब्दात मांडू शकता. तो आपण बघणार आहोत पुढे. त्याचं शब्द ज्ञानानुपाती वस्तू शून्य विकल्प हा असं म्हटलेलं आहे. सो इट डजंट नीड एनी सेन्स ऑर्गन कॉन्टॅक्ट ऑफ सेन्स ऑर्गन विथ द ऑब्जेक्ट, बिकॉज दॅट ऑब्जेक्ट इज नॉट देअर ॲट ऑल. And even the smriti, there is no contact. It is only the memory. So no contact of sense organ with the object. So these two are like this. And the nidra, which is totally different. Nidra is, there is no contact of anything, no imagination, okay, no smriti. Smriti is afterward, that is the inference, what we will call it as. That when we are deliberating on that vritti nidra, that time we'll see that it is basically the absence. It is the predominance of tamoguna. Let us understand this point. ती वृत्ती निरोध नाहीये हे लक्षात घ्या तुम्ही. It is not nirodha because there is no awareness. Nirodha is with awareness. You are stopping all these things because now you are realizing the things. In nidra तुम्ही शहाणे होत नाही हे लक्षात घ्या. कारण झोपून गाढ झोपेतून उठल्यानंतर सगळं तुमचं जे असतं ना व्यक्तिमत्व ते सगळं उघड होतं. परत तुम्ही बाह्यापासून मोकळे होता की आता बघतोच ह्याला कसं काय करायचं ते. And only with inference you come to know that you are in deep sleep. That's it. But there is no experience. So it is the absence of experience. अभाव प्रत्यय आलंबना वृत्तीर निद्राहा. ठीक आहे. आता पुढचे जे आहेत प्रत्येकावर त्यांनी एक एक ऍफोरिझम दिली आहे. 9:25 झाले. काही प्रश्न जर असतील तर 5 मिनिटात आपल्याला आपण विचारू शकतो आतापर्यंतच्या ह्याच्यात. अदरवाइज विल मीट ऑन नेक्स्ट वेनसडे. सगळ्यांना अनम्यूट कर म्हणजे. So before asking any question, let us have one first the Shanti part, and then we'll you are allowed to ask the question. Just sit quietly and comfortably with spine erect. Eyes are closed gently. Join your both the hands in Namaskar Mudra. And Shanti part all together. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Just rub your palms on each other and apply that heat around your eyes. Slowly open your eyes. See, the 5 minutes are there. If any questions are there, you can definitely ask the questions.
सर नमस्कार.
नमस्कार.
योगशित्ते वृत्ती निरोधामध्ये निरोध क्लिष्ट वृत्तीचा करायचा का अक्लिष्ट वृत्तीचा?
दोन्हीचा. देर शुड नॉट बी एनी वृत्ती.
अच्छा.
क्लिष्ट आणि अक्लिष्ट दोन्हीचा करायचा आहे.
थँक्यू.
सर चित्ताला इंग्लिश मध्ये काय म्हणणार?
त्याला इंग्लिश ट्रान्सलेशनच नाहीये. कारण चित्त हा जो शब्द आहे हा प्युअरली टेक्निकल शब्द आहे योगशास्त्रातला. म्हणजे चित्त हा शब्द तुम्हाला इव्हन सांख्यांमध्ये पण नाही दिसणार. सांख्य दर्शनात इट इज ए प्युअर टेक्निकल वर्ड बाय पतंजली मुनी इन योगशास्त्र. आणि तो संस्कृत वर्ड आहे.
ओके, सॉरी कंटिन्यू.
संस्कृत असे खूप शब्द आहेत की ज्याचं तुम्हाला ट्रान्सलेशन करता येत नाही. आपल्या ह्याच्यात रामराज्य म्हणतो आपण. आता कसं ट्रान्सलेशन करणार तुम्ही रामराज्याचं? कळलं की नाही? कुशल. आता कुशलचं ट्रान्सफॉर्मेशन कसं? आपण आता ते कुशल म्हणजे त्याच्यात तरबेज वगैरे असं म्हणतो. पण तो कुशल शब्द कुठून आलाय? तर कुशल जे ग्रास आहे तो जे तोडतो अतिशय सुंदर रीतीने. कारण ते ग्रास तोडताना त्याचे हे येऊन रक्तबंबाळ होतात हात. तो जे विदाऊट हे होता जे तोडतो तो कुशल, असा ग्रास तोडणारा कुशल. आता आपण सगळ्यात संगीतात कुशल आहे, याच्यात कुशल आहे, त्याच्यात कुशल आहे म्हणतो, कळलं की नाही? पण हे काही जे शब्द आहेत हे त्या त्या भाषेचे शब्द आहेत, हे त्या त्या भाषेतच वापरायचे असतात. तसा चित्त हा इट इज अ टेक्निकल टर्म यूज बाय पतंजली मुनी.
ओके.
विकास काका,
निद्रा
बोल.
सर
दगडा
हा बोल प्रांजल बोल.
हा दगडाला देव मानणं हे कुठली वृत्ती झाली, विपर्यय की विकल्प?
हा खूप मोठा प्रश्न आहे. आता 2 मिनिटात मी नाही उत्तर, पण सुंदर प्रश्न आहे आणि त्याचा अतिशय सुंदर उत्तर आहे माझ्याकडे, पण आता आपल्याला वेळ नाहीये. त्याच्यासाठी खूप मोठा पसार आहे, तो तुला समजावून सांगेन मी लागेल तर. तुम्हाला फोन कर, आता माझ्याकडे वेळ नाही, माझे 9:30ला लेक्चर आहे म्हणून.
नाही ठीक आहे ठीक आहे.
बट डेफिनेटली नेक्स्ट टाइम आय विल आन्सर युअर क्वेश्चन, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट.
सर
किंवा हे आन्सर टाईप ऑडिओ करून पाठवून दिलं तरी हरकत नाही सर ग्रुप वरती.
चालेल ना. एकाच शब्दात फक्त सांगतो तुला की इमान्सिपेशन पर्यंत जे जे काही चित्तात उठताय ते सगळ्या वृत्ती आहेत, एवढं एकच सांगेन. मग ते कसं काय वगैरे ते नंतर सांगतो तुला. म्हणजे अगदी देवाच्या दारी जाऊन दर्शन घेणं वगैरे सुद्धा वृत्तीच आहे. जिथपर्यंत तुम्हाला हे होत नाही, मोक्ष मिळत नाही, तिथपर्यंतच्या सगळ्या या वृत्तीच आहे. फक्त त्या वृत्तीचा आपण उपयोग कसा करतोय. आणि ज्या अक्लिष्ट वृत्ती आहेत की दोज हू विल टेक मी टू द इमान्सिपेशन, दोज आर अक्लिष्ट वृत्तीज, बट द वृत्तीज आर देअर. याच्यावर डिटेल मध्ये बोलतो मी तुझ्याशी. सो शॅल वी स्टॉप हिअर नाउ? काही जर प्रश्न असतील तर आपण पुढच्या वेळेला नक्की त्याचा विचार करू, कारण हा जो ही जी 5, 6, 11 जी सूत्र आहेत ना, ही खूप महत्वाची सूत्र आहेत, कारण त्याच्यावरच पूर्ण योगशास्त्र अवलंबून आहे. सो आय विल नाउ लीव्ह द क्लासरूम. इफ यू वॉन्ट टू चॅट यू कॅन चॅट, बट आय विल लीव्ह द क्लासरूम नाउ.
थँक्यू सर.
या थँक्स.
हरिओम सर.
हरिओम.
हरिओम.